government to function properly, there's actually a need for a financial proposal which will highlight some details of what it intends to do, especially in the new fiscal year. This proposal later metamorphosed into a budget after legislative scrutiny and approval. How well does the government get helped, by the budget to perform in any fiscal year is the biggest question, as most times the budget perform at a very low scale, leaving most of the proposed programs unattended to. How can this be addressed, especially to see that the budget of every government is utilized optimally to the benefit of the people? Well, that's the focus of today's edition of the program, The Platform, the pinnacle of all discussion. My name is Ginika Olwaha. Welcome. Well, we'll take a breather to bring you the political update. When we come back, you meet my guest. He's already in the studio. Stay with us.
Right now, I want to take it up through this way. I'm going to make an overview of budgets, the challenges of budgets, then previous performances of 2023 budget and others, then future benefits of the 2024 federal government budget, its impacts, assumptions, and then citizens' expectations of this budget, then recommendations, and I'm going to put up implementation strategies.
Okay.
So by budget here, we mean an important instrument used in achieving government strategic plans and objectives. So this budget, every budget has a structure, and this shows resource allocations to different government sectors and agencies for service delivery to the people. It contains revenue, expenditure, and debt. Now, looking at the budget challenges, or called risks, we have the climate change risks of budgets. We have the technology risks of budget in terms of artificial intelligence. You have also wars. You have foreign exchange risks, inflation risks, and security risks. So here, looking at 2023 budget performance, review aspect of it. For oil sector, you have the performance of up to 85%.
Okay.
That is more than half. And again, we have non-oil sector performing only 35%, below average. Then company income tax, performance of 221.4%. And then VAT, value added tax, we have 111%. Customs, you have 75%, above average. Here, 2024 budget assumptions, that is assumptions under which the 2024 budget of Renewed Hope is dependent on. One, they took up oil price as 78%, 78 naira, as against 75 of 2023. Then oil production has 178 megabytes per day, and as against 1.69 megabytes. Then forex, that foreign exchange, placed at $750 as against $436 of 2023. Then you have inflation today, 22% as against 17% of last year. Then you have GDP, gross domestic product, of 3.76% as against 3.75% of last year. Now, what is those revenue projection problems on this? One, it has over-ambitious and often unmet. So it is over-ambitious and unmet. Then there is also lack of agency capacity to deliver as expected. Then you have removal of fuel subsidy which broke the back of the budget. Now, we have priority sectorial allocation areas. Among them, you have defense and security, which is #1 priority for 2024 budget of Renewed Hope, 12%, as against 13% of 2023. That is below that, 12% as against 13%. Then Nigeria is considered as the fourth after Algeria, after Egypt and Libya, fourth after all these countries, as the fourth unsecured nation. Now, under education, sectoral allocation is 7.9%. This is against 10% of 2023 allocation for education last year. So benchmark given to Nigeria by UNESCO is supposed to be 15 to 20%. And you know 7.9% is far below between 15 and 20% of the benchmark. Now, health, only 5%, as against 8% last year. It was reduced. Yeah. So, and Abuja Declaration of 2021 said it should be between 5 and 9%. You can see that it is within that range. Now, infrastructure, 5% as against 5.012%, as against 5% of last year. And you know Nigeria, being a developing country, has major needs for infrastructural development. So social safety, in terms of poverty reduction, it is the budget allocated 2% as against 4%. That is to say, the standard should be, or benchmark should be 3% average, which is far below what is what we have today, only 2%. Okay. So 2024 budget deficit here is 3.88% as against 3% stipulated by Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2007. This is justified by the national security threats we are facing in Nigeria today. And it covers revised federal staff salaries and pensions, which was reviewed upwards. It covers it. Then it leads to multiplier positive effect on long-term improvement in infrastructure. It also allows reduction in cash reserve ratio of commercial banks, and again released to the private sector for lending. Okay. So in this case now, the impact.
Because that should be where most Nigerians are much concerned. All these indices, all these percentages, that what we had in 2023 and what we're having in 2024. Nigerians will say each time these people will come and present budgets, at the end of the day, they are not having any impact, they are not feeling it, they are nothing. Life continues as it has been ever, Yeah. So, Prof, just like you've read out some of the percentages and indices, as captured in the 2024 budget, going by the activities of various governments, even the federal government, where they even do things not captured in the budget. I'm sure you know that sometimes they go outside of the budget to do things, even when the National Assembly, doesn't give the approval. And is there really need for budget, since some of the functions are captured, the ones that are captured in the budget are not even implemented? Government will go outside of the budget to do something else. Is there really need for this? Because if we are talking about, it's about Nigerians, and they are not feeling the impact, what should be done in this area?
Yes, thank you very much. There is need.
Okay.
Because there is need to plan your activities so that you don't go off course. So government there's need. Very, very important. It's an important instrument for planning in order to achieve the objectives and plans of the government.
Okay.
So there is need, very much need. But the question you may ask, you are asking whether that plan, whether it works.
Exactly.
It works.
Really?
Yes, it works.
In what area?
But there are certain challenges that may thwart the functioning of budgeting in our own environment. which is the ones we may know as we go further.
Okay.
But right now, please permit me to talk about the impact of 2024 budget on key sectors.
Okay. Because
like
I was
agriculture.
I was going to ask you in
Yes,
the
okay.
sectoral allocations of funds.
Okay.
You know, each time, like I was telling you off the mic, that each time the government will say, we want to diversify the economy, we want to diversify. Of course, you know that Nigeria is a mono economy.
Yeah.
Everything depends on oil, you know, and that's our source of major revenue. But the issue is this: if we are talking about diversifying the economy, what areas, what sectors should we be looking at going by this budget?
Yes, we'll be looking at agriculture,
Okay.
because we have the potentials to engage and make something out of agriculture. So agriculture is number one. Number one is the industries, manufacturing sector. And another one is ICT.
Can government actually build industry? I thought that they say government does not actually have a business being in business. You know, if government should do anything that must encourage, it should be something creating an enabling environment for private investors to come in, probably build the industries themselves, you know, but make sure that the policies are quite favorable for these people to come in. Is there any need for government to actually start building industry, Prof?
Yes, government can build industries, but the best way is to leverage private capital by encouraging the partnership between the private and the public sector, so that they can go ahead to build the industries.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Which other sector? Like you have them there.
Like agriculture is one.
Okay.
We have what it takes to flow or to grow through agriculture. So, but today the budget is showing otherwise. The budget. So, like as I said, as I said here, agriculture is having 1.32%, as against 1.05% of 2023 budget. So you can see that it is stepped up from 1.05% to 1.32%. Now, what will be the impact if this is implemented?
Yes.
The impact here is that it improves farmer security.
Okay.
It improves power security, improves access to affordable credit.
Okay.
Then promotes export of value-added agricultural products.
Okay.
These are the things it will impact. It's, farmers for some time now they're out of farms.
Yeah, because of this security that we experience.
And that affects their productivity. There are some farmlands or agricultural lands that are productive, which have been lying low, lying fallow for some time. If this security is improved, farmer security is improved or done, then farmers can go back to the farm.
You talked about access to credit, for farmers.
Yes.
And when you look at it now, going by the 2024 Renewed Hope budget, do you think that the issue of allowing that loan, that's what we're talking about, farmers loan kind of, when you talk about the credit, is it captured in this budget? Do we have enough programs that will enable the whether they are rural farmers or anywhere, to access this credit and make them, be able to channel it to what they are doing for agriculture in the country?
Yeah, thank you very much. For agriculture budget allocation, we have majority of the allocation going to the agencies, trying to build for them, trying to furnish their offices, leaving very, very little, very far below average to the field. So I think if government can try to review this thing, they can allocate chunk of it to the field.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so what it simply means that what other areas, apart from industrialization of the economy and agriculture, which I doubt so much because of the insecurity, it has not been addressed. So if you're telling the farmers to come and take the loans and go back to farm, which farm exactly? The farms are not even safe for these people to go back. What about farm implements? Talk about fertilizer and all that.
Mechanization.
Exactly. You know, facilities and all that.
Yes.
Is it also factored into this budget as well?
Well, that is the area I'm saying, the one that will affect people directly.
Yeah.
The welfare of people directly is that food security.
Okay.
Where the budget will embark on field allocation more than every other allocation, like building houses for NAFDAC, sorry, the people, you know, the office, the agencies, furnishing them and so on, paying salaries and so on. What about the field? Government should do something about allocation to the field. Where you have mechanization of agriculture, you have, you know, however, security. I think the highest priority, security has the highest priority because of what is happening today. They have up to 12% of a total budget.
Now, what about the issue? You know, we are still talking about agriculture and how we can diversify the economy based on what this 2024 budget is talking about. Why are we not seeing government trying to talk about subsidizing prices of food commodities as we have them today? Bag of rice, Prof, goes for about 60,000 naira. Yes. How many people can afford that? If you have actually pulled the subsidy for fuel, I mean petroleum subsidy, why can't it be channeled to food prices of commodities in the market? Because is it captured also in this budget? Because that should be what is affecting the people directly. You know, I told you that it's not all about coming to the National Assembly or to the state houses of assembly to read out this text, you know, prepared by someone, maybe handed over to the president, who may not even have gone through what he's about to read. But because it's an annual ritual, it's a mere formality, he goes to the National Assembly to present the text, you know, how can it affect an ordinary person, an ordinary Nigerian on the street? We are talking about subsidizing food commodities in the market so that it can be affordable for at least most Nigerians. Prof?
I think subsidizing consumables may not work.
Oh, really?
Look at these palliatives. What is happening there? Some of the government officials receive the allocation of their people, divert it to their private something.
Because
that's a character issue for government agencies. People divert what is meant for their people. They divert it to their private. They share to their friends.
Like what is happening in humanitarian affairs ministry.
Yes, it will not work. They share it. They throw it. I don't think it will work, sir. I think what should work here is trying to, this like mechanization of agriculture, we have to try to ensure bringing the new breeds of commodity of seeds and every other thing that will improve and then provide security. Security has been provided adequately here because defense and security is having 12%, the highest. I think if this, of course I'm afraid too, this may not work again because people will allocate. Is it not what they give to soldiers out of what they will go back to field and say, that's all. So that's my fear.
Now, coming back to states, Prof, I don't know if you cited any of the budgets of the state government. You know, have you cited any of their budgets? And I'm just wondering, with the peculiarity of some of the states, you know, and the budget as well. For instance, in Abia State, which sector do you think should be given priority in the budget? Of course, you know that more than 50% of Abia State budget, according to the governor, will go into infrastructure. Is that really necessary?
My dear, this is the Abia State government. The theme of their budget, the 2024 budget, is budget of new beginning. Budget of new beginning. And I think this budget has been provided for. If you look at across the southeast states, southeastern states, if you look at Abia State in particular, Abia State allocates higher or chunk aspect of that budget allocation to capital expenditure. Is the highest in southeast. The budget, the capital expenditure 84%. is the highest, seconded by Imo State.
Okay.
Then third, Enugu State. And fourth, Anambra, and the last, Ebonyi.
Okay.
You see that Abia, 84%, Imo, 83%, Enugu, 79%, Anambra, 77%, Ebonyi, 66%. I think that is tailored to infrastructural development of the state, which in the long run will answer. Not now.
Not now.
We may suffer it now, but in the long run.
So what happens, you're talking about tomorrow, the future, that's what we're talking about.
Yes,
if
yes.
we should go by this budget. So what happens today? What if the people you are planning these things for die today because of hunger? They don't have what to eat, and you're planning for the future. Yes, it's good to plan for the future, but the future starts today.
Yes.
So if we are talking about the future, I think the budget should as well address the challenges of today, where the people are suffering and they need to survive today to face the future. What do you think, Prof?
Yes, I think all the whole allocation does not go to capital expenditure. That's
Okay.
infrastructure aspect. Portion of it is allocated to recurrent expenditures to take care of our people, salaries, and so on. So keeping people lively, work on, while this is pursued.
Yeah.
I don't think it is bad that this aspect or proportion of capital expenditure is allocated to infrastructure.
Okay.
It's not bad, sir.
Okay, let's go back to the national budget.
Okay.
The social intervention programs. You talked about salary now. Salary is for those that are working. Millions of Nigerians are not working. So they may not, benefit from the salary you're talking about that government normally pays at the end of every month. So what about people that are not working? Probably the unemployed. What becomes of their faith in this budget? The area of social intervention, probably giving them something to hold on to while they await, or something to fall back on, and maybe start their own business with little capital and all that. Do you think it's also captured in this budget?
Yes, I think it is captured. Like you have an aspect we call social net.
Okay.
A place we said reduction of poverty. That it is provided for. Okay. And in education too, certain things are provided for there too. Okay. So you cannot, the point is that we have to avoid the idea of sharing cash.
Okay.
Sharing cash for people. It's not sustainable. Our people can mess it up. So look at what happened in that palliative issues.
Yeah.
I mean,
even sharing of food items.
Yes, it's part of it. And I think government has shown concern by giving palliatives in order for immediate recovery. So I don't think it's bad, sir.
Another aspect is the issue of borrowing. When governments make projection, even the national budget you talked about, remember that the president has actually approached the National Assembly requesting the approval for him to borrow, I can't remember the figure now, both domestic and foreign loan. Yes, and that they have graciously approved that in their own wisdom.
Okay.
Now, when you make borrowing, they said who goes borrowing goes a sowing. What about the repayment plan? And is it even good for government to keep borrowing, to finance the budget? Why can't you make do with what you have? If you have only 10 naira to budget, or rather to finance your budget, why don't you, make your coat according to the cloth available? Prof?
Yeah, I'm with you, sir.
Okay.
The problem here is not good. It's not bad to borrow.
Okay. To finance the budget?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not bad to borrow to finance budgets, but it depends on where you commit such funds. If you commit such funds in businesses or places that it can return in the long run, can pay off, it's not bad. Where it is too bad is where you borrow to consume it.
Okay.
To consume.
Just like
in that case, yes.
You give money.
In that case, yes, it can return. It can return. A project that you borrow to finance can pay back as soon as it is invested. It can be in the long run anyway, but it must have to pay back. It's not too bad. avoiding borrowing entirely. No, it doesn't augur well. It doesn't suit the economic growth of any nation.
Another
Even those developed countries you think that they borrow too. If you see the quality or quantity of their type of borrowing, you will think. So
okay, now another aspect that also affects the people is the health sector. We fall sick from time to time, and one needs to assess the Medicare and all that. When I listened to you when you were making analysis of the 2024 budget, when you compare the 2024 budget to 2023 budget, which of these budgets actually address the health needs of the country?
Yes, here, this year, 2024 budget of Renewed Hope provided for only 5%. Only 5%. For last year, it was 8%. Now, and the Abuja Declaration of 2021 stipulates between 5 to 9%, which is not too bad because they fall within the range. However, health own supposed to have been stepped up a little, not instead of being the minimum. So that is it.
You think government should do something? Because I know that maybe mid-year they can still go back to the National Assembly for supplementary budget.
Yes.
Should they factor that into consideration while approaching the National Assembly for supplementary budget?
In this case, I can suggest that it may still remain 5%. But when we have major issues, health issues, like this COVID-19 issues, it should be targeted. So such things, they can come up without notice.
I don't think that we even expected it in 2020 when it came.
We didn't.
We did not.
So,
but
and I believe provisions must have been made for such emergency cases. Government cannot go without making provision for such emergency cases, apart from what is provided for here.
Okay, so, Prof, before we open the phone lines and allow our listener to come in, so what should the citizens expect once a budget is passed? Because, like I told you from the beginning of this budget, this program, that people do not actually feel the impact of budgets. But at the national level, across the states, they don't feel the impact. But it's expected that that should be the normal thing to do. Once a budget is passed, you should see a kind of change, even in the economy and all that. But look at it. It appears that our own is the other way around. Once we pass budgets in this country, things will go, keep going downward. And we'll keep wondering, what is the essence of this budget? What should the people expect once the budget is passed?
Yes, the Nigerian citizens should expect the budget to ameliorate people's sufferings using the right enabling priorities. And I think by 2024 budget, they have prioritized security as number one, allocating 12% of total budget to security. This will will enhance farmers going back to farms, increase productivity, and even without being molested. Then another one is that if security is a security problem is arrested, the many companies who ran away will come back. Many companies that ran away will come back. Because of security, they will come back.
You think it's because of security, that's why they left?
Yes, that is the most reason why there is insecurity. Because they can't invest. They're not sure. If they invest, something will not.
I don't know if you know that Shell just left, I think, a week or two ago. Shell operates somewhere in Niger Delta. Are we having security issues there, Prof? When you say that these companies that are leaving because of insecurity, I was thinking that maybe you look at some other policies of government that are quite draconian. Maybe that's why they are leaving. When you talk about Shell, they operate in the Niger Delta and they have their headquarters in Lagos. Are we having security issues in those two areas?
And when in the field, there's insecurity in the field, administrative will take decisions that will pull out.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not out of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what other expectation do you think people should?
People expect significant infrastructural development.
Okay.
Especially in our roads and power supply.
Okay, in terms of roads, I think we should give it to government.
Yes.
They are stepping up, even
Yes.
the ones in the state.
Yes.
But
yes.
when you talk about power, so many people will obviously disagree with you, Prof. I'm sure you will also disagree with this particular position because most people, in fact, in Omaha, that is if you stay in Omaha right now, you see the way the epileptic power suppliers, in the capital city, tomorrow and all, So what, and this is what the citizens expect to see improve once the budget is passed. Government has failed in this regard. You don't think so?
Well, the 2024 budget has not been implemented yet.
But it has started. It has been
Yes,
approved.
it has started, but I think they should invest in that to at least to recover the problems, solve the problems of power.
Okay. What other area?
Another one is the citizens, the Nigerian citizens expect government to fight inflation and the exchange rate.
That's another area.
At any cost by their policies.
Okay.
They should fight them. So there is rise in both inflation and the exchange rate. They should fight that with any type of policy.
Dollar is now 1,004. $1.
It's too
It's
bad.
really worrisome.
So,
And it's continuing.
and don't you think it's contradictory? The GDP rate, is positive.
Why is it like
even
that?
upon that?
Yeah. So why? What is it that somebody is not doing? What exactly is happening?
Well, it is not only exchange rate that affects that. It's not.
Which other thing?
You have other things like level of productivity of people and so on.
Okay.
So another one is support for health. People expect that healthcare should be supported and provisions made for them. Then another one or expectation of citizens is pay more attention to security, to engage agricultural land lying fallow.
Okay.
Then allow us to meet our daily production, oil production quotas.
Okay.
To be able to alleviate, as well as alleviate fears in the cities. If you go to some cities today, like Monday sit at home, sometimes they will increase it and do that. So
it affects the economy, not only that of the Southeast, but that of the country.
Yeah, the country, because the level of productivity, will decrease. A day, what a day contributes, a day times 12, what it contributes, don't you think it would reduce?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think if you're just joining us, it's time for us to open the phone lines. We are talking about budgets and how it will affect or its impact on the economy of the country and also of the state. What do you think? My guest has been Professor James Ihemeje. He's a lecturer in the Department of Banking and Finance at the Michael Okpara University of Agriculture here in Umudike. Okay, so it's time for us to open the phone lines so you can be part of this discussion. The numbers to call are 080-8182-6949 or 0811-605-2949. Okay. Hello? Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Ginika. My name is Ugonna Eric. I'm calling you from Omajaba in Eluguru.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Prof.
Thank you.
I've heard all that has been discussed and said about budget, and all that in Nigeria and in states. Yes, sometimes some of these figures don't add to anything. I like the way Ginika took those questions. What is the impact, effect, immediate positive effect of budgeting on Nigerians for now? Immediate, short term and then in the long term. Because over the years, it's more like a ritual. And the figures are not adding up. People's livelihood are getting so bad and poorer. And then you have also stated there that in these estimates, whether they are better used or not, there are different things. I thought we would have been able to specifically state that some of the things that has hindered our budget is corruption. Some of this money that we hear are being looted, mismanaged, and other. Are they part of what is factored into the budget? The answer is no. And all these political people, that they are too numerous, we need to tame it down and reduce their number and focus on good governance. You talked about agriculture too. How many people, how many states, apart from Jigawa and the Kasebi and one other, most of the other states are still dependent on human things to produce. Why are we not able to mechanize farming at the scale, at the national level and then in the state? So that we're able to produce food. So in the next 6 months, we'll have food after rainy season. So these are the things we should be looking at. And then at the local government centers, we should be able to sell certain items, essential items, at a controlled prices. You understand? So that people can get certain amount or quantity. So on a weekly or monthly basis, we're not saying we'll go like it is an Oriba market or whatever, but certain essential things, milk, fish, eggs, and they're sold at reduced prices at the local government level at very little quantities, manned by certain persons, if possible under the supervision of the military or anybody, so that we avoid some of these things. I've acknowledged the fact that we shouldn't go with the world carrying money. But remember what Yaradua did during his term. 80 billion naira was used to flood rice to Nigeria from Thailand, and that stopped rice problem and the inflationary trend across the whole nation. And that was why people were saying rice was selling for 6,000, 8,000. I didn't know how it happened. That was somebody's policy. So we should be able to do things that take care of the immediate, the midterm, and in the long term, so that at least Nigeria can breathe. Instead of dwelling on figure that does not. And again, I like the budgeting of Ebonyi more than that of Abia, because it's good to start 66, 20, 34 or thereabout, then starting 84, 16. And then you begin to go down. I think I start low and gradually grow it up. So I'm more comfortable with the budgeting of Ebonyi compared to that of Europe. I have said for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Gunnar Eric. Prof, we'll come to that, but let's take another call. Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Only if you can move away from your radio set.
You stop already on my record here. Can you hear me very well?
Go ahead.
All right. Good morning, sir.
Yes, madam.
Welcome.
Good morning, Doc. All right. I remember Mr. Prince Ulusuagu from here, no more natural ball.
Okay, go ahead.
Again, let me ask the prof a little question here.
Okay, go ahead.
In as much as our GDP is not growing, and there is no relationship between economic growth and economic development in this Nigerian economy, how can we, as a nation, be borrowing without concomitant effect between our borrowing and spending? This is my question. May God bless you, my prof.
You're welcome, my dear. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm sure you got that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take another call. 080-8182-6949 or 08116052949. We are actually looking at budgeting and how it's going to impact the economy of the country. Hello? Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Ike Chukwu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in every budget at advanced countries, citizens are the driving force. Even if it's a capitalist state or socialist state or community state. But in Nigeria, some few people are driving the budgetary fund into unknown disclosure, unknown locations. Even the private sector industries are doing their own bit by bit with their own funds. We are not telling you. With their own funds. So it's apparent that local government have no duty in Nigerian government. People are the locals. Like this country is planted by local people who are supporting the regional government. It's not just like that establish one agency, start going to every people's house, start planting pantries. It's not done that way. So when the people at local level are denied participatory your budget to agriculture is no value. It is officially when you cross border with the Niger, which is some tax of life and
Okay, I think, let me get your question. You are saying that in preparing budget for the agricultural sector, those at the local level must be carried along. Is that what you're saying?
100%, because they are the ones to implement it. Even a very large-scale company, like the way they have it in Zimbabwe, come here. You need the locals who to serve as retail or, to take the goods. Because, and also, even if it's an agricultural agro-allied industry, the locals should be participating. Foreigners will not come and bring their own to do everything for you.
Okay.
So, in as much the government has cost local government from the people, your budget will have no impact in the economy.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Prof, let me get back to you.
I have these recommendations, Coach.
Okay. You go ahead. Is it related to some of the concerns raised by the colleague?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much, people. I also prepared recommendations which I would want a recommendation to the government.
Some of you are very close to government, especially when producing this budget and all that. Maybe you can also help release some of these concerns of Nigerians to government.
Yes.
So that each time they want to, plan for this or rather come up with this budget, they will factor some of the concerns raised by Nigerians. Yes. So go ahead, Prof.
Yes, I think the last Friday where we discussed this at Abuja, Anan Conference Hall, Abuja, housed by Anan and Intertines of Taxation.
Okay.
I think we discussed this and we made some recommendations which they are taken up there.
Okay.
So, like one of the recommendations I want to make here is that there should be more aggressive and innovative budget that allows between 8 to 10% of growth, GDP growth rate, as against 3.76%. Far below. Should be stepped up.
Okay.
Then, take advantage. Number 2 is to take advantage of the Presidential Committee of Fiscal Policy and Tax Reform to exceed revenue to GDP target from 10% to 18%. Now, for you to sustain the GDP, you need 15%. For you to move for economic growth, you need above 15%.
Okay.
So if you are playing at 3 point something, while you are supposed to play at between 8 to 10, I mean, it's not.
Okay. So on the issue that somebody, Ikechukwu actually raised a point there. He said, in preparing take for instance agriculture, the agricultural sector budget, if you are planning for their budget, then you must carry along the farmers and the locals, those that will carry out the implementation.
Yes.
You must carry them along before you come up with the budget of agriculture sector.
Okay, in preparation of the budget.
Yes, exactly, because they are the ones that are going to carry it out at that level. Do you agree to that?
Let me come into this. This matter came up. Non-participation of citizens in budget preparation. It came up, and the problem is that people are represented. Where is this budget? The House of Assembly, the members, the House of Rep members, are they not representatives? It passed through them. What did they do? Everybody must not come out in a round table conference or round table for anything to discuss budget. People are represented. So the idea of a non-participatory should not come in.
Another thing is whether these people you're talking about, so that's the House members, the reps and the Senate, are they actually representing the interest of these people? That's another thing.
That's another question.
If you say they have, they may have them there, but are they saying the right thing? Are they relating these issues we are talking about to the right authority and for, exactly what these people are talking about? Because that should be the major issue.
Yes,
Once there's a disconnect
that's another question
in that chain, of course, whatever you're saying will not make
let me come up. A budget of 27.5% was presented. At the floor there, it was taken up by 1.2 trillion. Okay, now, I mean, what I mean is that 27.5 trillion. Now at the floor of approval, the House members drag them to increase it by 1.2. What is it for? When it was questioned, they said that one was taken to capital infrastructure. Where and how? And how did that one go? That's a question mark. Okay. So another thing I'm trying to recommend here is that there should be consolidated economic reforms to take advantage of changes in constitution to address the critical areas.
Okay.
So any constitutional reforms, any constitution changes coming up now, people should, government, both state and local and every other government should come up to make sure that this is stepped up.
Okay.
Then another one is we should take coordinated and synergetic action to solve budget implementation problems. It's a problem. The budget is not a bad thing, but implementation is where the problem lies.
I don't think any of the budget, or the one that we have, the federal government budget, has it performed above 50%? I mean, in terms of implementation.
Are you talking about 2024 budget?
Even the last one, the 2023.
No.
What's the performance level?
It's below.
It's below 50%.
Below, yes.
So you see, so
it's below.
What exactly causes this? Because that's another thing we need to address. Implementation.
Now, like we are talking about, we are saying that the prevailing budget challenges impact negatively on the Nigerian economy. And one of them is epileptic power supply. You know what it means? Yes. Another one is insecurity.
Okay.
Another one here is inadequate infrastructure, shortage of foreign exchange, and naira appreciation. Okay. These are some of the things. And we are saying here that more clarity and thought is needed to address these concerns. There are concerns.
Okay. Okay, let's see if we can take the final call on the show before we leave the show. Okay, to our Facebook page, this one is coming from Ezeka Elvis. He said, you're texting from, he said, good morning, Chief Editor and the Chief Correspondent. Thank you so much. The guest in the studio, Professor Hennig. They said, the truth of the matter is if we have leaders who sometimes borrow to consume for their personal and private interest, thereby denying the people the sole opportunity of filling the huge and massive budget impact they implement, we just hope and pray that 2024 budget would be used judiciously. May God bless Nigeria. Okay? Thank you so much. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
This is Michael Obi. I'm calling from Omar.
Michael, if you can make it in 30 seconds, that will be fine.
Okay, I just want to drop a short message. The budget so far is good. From the way I've reviewed it, the budget is good. But my problem here is the implementation and maintaining this budget after they've been placed or been created. Maintenance and long running. Not by route, for instance, you have a light for 1 week and before you know it, light cuts off and everything. So whatever they implement, they should also make sure they maintain it to serve the for a long period of time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, Prof, we should leave the studio now. Your final thoughts on what we've said this morning as we exit the studio.
Okay.
Especially where the people can start having the impact of budget every year, because that should be paramount.
Okay. Before I round up, I want to say that one of the things that is recommendable is to ensure that the budget focuses on needs rather than wants.
Okay.
To put Nigeria on the path of economic growth by employing a comprehensive revenue framework that prioritizes broad-based economic growth, reduces inequality, addresses poverty, tackles insecurity, bridges infrastructural gap, and invests in human capital.
Okay.
And again, we are saying that concerning service-wide vote provision, service-wide vote provision, it should be captured within ministries, departments, and agencies' budget to avoid creating loopholes for financial impropriety and corruption.
Okay.
And again, we added that to improve on implementation report that will contain information on how service-wide votes are utilized.
Okay, Prof, you are just loaded. You are loaded. We may not be able to, take all that. But let me sincerely thank you. Professor James Ihemeje is an expert in budgeting and budgetary control. Also, a lecturer in the Department of Banking and Finance, Michael Okpara, University of Agriculture. Thank you so much, Prof, for coming on the show. I'm sure you will find time again to come around to talk about figures. You just have it at your fingertips. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And to all of you who called in on the show, thank you so much. May God bless you. The platform returns again on Wednesday at 10 a.m. here on Flow 94.1 FM. My name is Ginika Olwa. Sincere thanks to my producer, Samson Stanko, and Charles, the guys behind the camera. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you again. Good morning.